The family ranch is in disarray. Grandpa has done a runner and the future of our household estate has fallen into my incredibly capable hands. To make Mr. No-Show proud, I will need to cultivate the most glorious crop fields, fight off wild ferocious beasts, whilst expanding the number of my own domesticated animals under my wings, and all the while working towards that single most difficult achievement which is owned by less than 1% of players, millionaire. Welcome to 100% of Ranch Simulator. This story begins when I was given the opportunity to imagine myself as a rancher. As I played a short while before, I already had this handsome rooster on the bench, rocking that musketeer facial hair as always of course. Just a minor alteration to the eye color and we're good to go, mate. Artemis has been born, and I find myself legging it on this dirt road with a blue marker indicating my first objective. My guy runs like he needs to go to the dunny from the looks of it. Golly almighty, I'm leaping like a graceful gazelle. I leapt towards this note on the table. Hello, grandchild. Apparently old mate grandpa didn't know which grandchild would be absconding with this piece of paper. Anyways, the old fart didn't have time to keep this place in check. Here I am, classic start to a farming game, but he directs me to his old chest in his house. This is not a house, but a small tent, and this is my temporary save point where I am permitted to sleep. The key word there being temporary. Now this is Grandpa's old house. Oh, it doesn't look too shabby. I mean, for some reason, the doorways are barricaded with mattresses and such. I think the old fellow was either building a sick fort like he was a child or something, or fighting off a zombie apocalypse. I'm in the attic, and here is his most prized possessions in this air chest. A revolver with some ammo, some money, and his last note. His last bestowment upon me, which is his old car. Well, parts of an old car. I need to find them all individually, like this seat. I thought I was playing Ranch Simulator, but sure, I'll play a little bit of Mechanic Simulator. But it's only a few minutes, and I have reassembled this little UTV. Not much gas, so I grab an empty jerry can in this garage, and I slap it onto the back of my self-made mobile vehicle. Hey, I did a great job. This thing can take off with some gusto, but I do need to be careful. Oh, out of my way. No. Goodness gracious me, creature. Surprised you survived that. Yep, no casualties today, except maybe my pocket. I take the fuel nozzle and I slot it into my car. Oh, thank God, it only costs $1 per liter, and nothing like the fuel prices at the moment in real life. I also fill up my jerry can, which can hold up to 40 liters. I drift onto this car park and I nearly crash into this building. Inside, this lovely gal asks if I'm the proud owner of the ranch across the road, which I am. And she gives me a construction manual. It'll help me rebuild the place, but keep in mind I can only build on my ranch. Okay, fair enough. The next building has a car salesman, and he sells a few nice automobiles. This red thing can go vroom vroom, or this big boy truck, which from the looks of it can transport a lot of animals. I'm pretty keen to do that. For $2,500? Mate, I am dreaming. My dreams take me over to the hardware store. This is the purchasing terminal. Not a single human is in here. It's a sad sight. Anyways, I get the axe, a crowbar, and a cheap table saw. I am following the tutorial, by the way, and this all sets me back $245. As no one is in sight, someone or something just chucks all my purchased goods on this purchase bay area, and I'm compelled to pick it all up. Wonderful service here. Maybe I'm gonna meet someone in this general store. I do meet this Sheila, but she says to go to the terminal, and she will literally be doing nothing sitting there. She's apparently decoration. I can get a lot of animals and the tools to care for them here. Also a bunch of farming stuff. I'm pretty keen to get into that. But today I'm encouraged to buy a basket and some chickens, which I promptly do. I snag my cluckies by their necks. I guess this is how you do it, and I slap them into my UTV. I'm sure these chickens have never been on a ride like this before, but they are safe and sound, and I simply chuck them down on my ranch as per instructions. I go ahead and locate a bag of grain. How long has this been here for? No idea, but she'll be alright, mate. I simply tear into this bag, and the grain flows all over the grass. I then found a water container and an empty bucket, and after a moment I discovered the empty bucket can snap to this container, allowing me to fill it. Food and water for my fowls have been sorted, so I enter my build menu and I navigate to the chicken coop, which I pop over here, and I need to bring materials to it for its construction. Well, I do have a cheap table saw, so best set this up now. I pour some fuel in and I get to chopping down the nearby trees. Once I chop them up properly, I get a couple of logs from each tree, which I slide onto this table, and it automatically saws it up for me. I get 2 planks from each log, so that's a decent ratio, right? I can carry 8 planks like this, and after some more running back and forth, I have completed my first coop. That was my first constructive task. The next is the opposite. I'm instructed to break down Grandpa's old house. I mean, it looks structurally sound. It would be a shame. But with my mighty crowbar in hand, I start this destructive endeavor. And once it's all done and dusted, the tutorial is finally over. I am now free to do as I please. I take a good long look at my manual. There are a few nice homes I would like to make, but for right now, this chicken has gone and laid an egg just wherever. I have no pen for these specimens, and I'm not overly keen to chase them for their eggs, so here I am holding my first egg in this game. Release? Oh, for good... Okay, that didn't go well, did it? Right, so if they're gonna lay their eggs just wherever, I need to enclose them. Okay. Alright, first order of business is I need to do that. I get to sewing up the materials I'll require for this small enclosure. I need some space and there's lots of junk here. I make sure to use my crowbar, which magically deletes this so-called garbage from existence. I spot my fence and gate blueprints in my manual. I plan a section in my head, and I use sword planks as a guideline, but I can place down the blueprints of these fences and snap them together so I can plan this all out before committing materials. I am devastated to see that my first attempt has left the tiniest gap. Oh yes. Haha. No! Okay, I'm sure that'll be fine. I don't think the chickens will be able to get out of that tiny little gap. I say that, but I did play around with it, and I was able to delete the blueprints with my crowbar and try again, and this looks much better. It's finally become nighttime. The days are quite long in this game, and I start to assemble this pen. I get my first achievement, which was walk 12 kilometers, but that was in this session and an earlier one when I tried playing this game in late 2025. Right now, I managed to find my tent in the darkness, and I rise to see the dawn of day 2? Oh, it's day 1 now? It was day 0 before. Okay, I'll go with it. My pen is nearly done, only a few fences left, and when it's all connected, I put the chickens back into their enclosure, and now I should have no trouble finding their eggs when they lay them. I make a second coop as I was pretty keen to start this ranch with lots of chickens for simple money. I thought I found an egg, but no, it's just one of their droppings. Okay, fair enough. I go ahead and look at my map. I'm at my ranch now where the red marker is. I want to go for a bit of a drive and just have a look around again on my own terms. But I refuel my car and jerry can, and I spot another ranch over here. There's someone sitting over there, and I thought this was her dog just running by. It wasn't. Okay, so... Wait, are you trying to attack me? Excuse me? Is this your dog, love? Okay, as there was no response from that Sheila, I fumbled to get out my revolver. I discovered at some point that every single time I load my game, I'm gonna have to reload my gun, but which I do now while I'm being mauled. Even though I aim my cursor, my guy shoots wide, and I need to get some distance. Oh, for goodness sake. I try to outrun the wolf and get a shot in, but then I get jumped by 2 wolves. Can you not jump in your car? No? Okay, well, so after a few moments, I finally get my positioning, and I slay these foul cretins. I mean, are these your dogs, love? I skin them, and I get some meat for my troubles. I could potentially sell this, and I place them in my car one by one. Wolves aren't the only problem here. This rancher says there are foxes, and they've been killing her chickens, and she asks me to deal with them. She is also getting on in age and asks me to clean up her yard a bit, which I quickly do. She gives me 300 dinks for my services. And I then see a roadkill outside this place. Maybe those wolves hunted this deer and then came for me. Well, this is their loss and I will make the most of this. I see some foxes out here and that rancher did ask me to deal with them, so I did. Only concern right now is that I have to stack all this wild meat onto my UTV and it gets a little bit tricky, but after some meaty Tetris I do get this done. The old gal paid me another $200 for culling those foxes, and I went about all the stores and I checked all of the goods again and on my own time, so I got a very good idea on where stuff was. At the general store I can sell all of this wild meat. I go into the selling tab. They currently go for $16.35 each, so 11 slabs will get me just under $180, which isn't too shabby. I spend that money on 8 chickens and some extra feed for them. Now, how do I stack all of this into my UTV? Like this. I had to take the jerry can out and slip the nozzle into my car fuel line, and that's just going to travel with me. I'm not too sure how safe that is. But I am surprised, no chickens went flying out the back as I drove home. I currently have 10 chickens on my ranch, just waiting on the eggs now. Speaking of which, there's one right now, and as I walk with my basket, I can put this egg straight into here. The capacity of this basket is 40, so that is a lot of eggs I can store. I am impatient, of course. How much do I sell an egg for? It goes for $7.77 each, which is almost 1/5 of the price of a chicken. That's a bloody bargain, mate. I then wanted to figure some stuff out and I read the game glossary. It is encouraged to do so. I read some details about the greenhouse and I think I got the impression that any small scale farming that I would want to do, I'm gonna have to do it in a greenhouse. So the morning of day 2, I see no eggs in this enclosure, which kind of makes me sad, but I do see plenty of poop and I could maybe use this as fertilizers later. Speaking of which, I believe these crop fields outside of my ranch will be used for large scale farming, which I'll dig into down the line. For now, I demolished this other crappy shed next to my tent. I continued to saw some logs. I slapped down this blueprint for a farmhouse design and I'll get round to making this one soonish. I was starting to envision a greenhouse over here. The foundation is down, but as I was doing this, I started to wonder, how will I water these crops inside? I'm throwing a greenhouse roof over the top, so I can't really rely on the rain, can I? I am so glad I had these thoughts, because currently I couldn't figure out how to put this roof on this thing. I made the structure shape a little bit awkward. I know I saw sprinklers before in my travels, so maybe just make the crops outside for now. It's almost the end of day 2 and still no eggs from these chickens. I was getting impatient. How frequently do they lay their eggs? I am whinging, of course, and just then they all laid their eggs. It might be the fact that it just turned 4 PM in the game. These chickens are also destroying the water and feed, and I was starting to second guess my ambitions here. I spot a well here, and this will be where I get my water for my crops, I imagine. I sell my eggs at this time and they go for $8 each, which is slightly more than the last time. It was a day or 2 since my last recording and I didn't catch on this price fluctuation, but even then I honed in on the prices for water and wheat for them, and I was turned off by the amounts, especially as they consume these rather quickly. As stacking is a thing in this game, by the way. I stack all of these items into my UTV one by one. There are better ways of doing this for some things, but for now I like to play stack as it seems. I spot all the crop seeds here. There's 8 different types, with a few farming equipment below them, most notably the sprinklers. So about that customer service. And yep, let's go into our cart, just do the checkout, that's perfectly fine. And I just realized I probably have a... Oh, for goodness sake, what if... What kind of service is this, people? Oh, for f***'s sake, what is this mess? No way. Oh, you're joking me. Okay, no. I've got to do this first, do I? Oh, that is ridiculous. That is quite possibly the worst service I've ever seen in my entire life. So I stash all these seeds just outside the buy zone for the moment, and I will come back for them shortly. That's appreciated. Let's just pop them in here for now. Oh, there's got to be a better way of doing this. I've got a whole, left hand that I could potentially fill with one of these seed packets. Is this how all ranches are? Yep, welcome to Ranch Simulator. What if you're left-handed? I feel like that would be a problem. I'm still laughing myself silly as I move these seed packets with 10 uses by the way into the desired spot. And I also bought the materials I would need for making a well. It was mainly concrete. It's the evening but no time for rest, I do have work to do. I make this well next to the greenhouse and I place down a few large crop plots over here. It is well into the early hours of the morning right now. I have played Stardew Valley and Potion Permit before, and in those games you pass out at 2 AM. I'll discover that this game is different. However, sleeping does save my progress, so I go ahead and do that regardless. It's day 3 and it starts with working out my arms, sawing up some logs. I then do some squats to keep my glutes active, and I gaze upon my future. Ah, look, this is the life. There's the sun rising over this ranch. Where the hell am I? I have no idea. And I'm probably somewhere in America, I would imagine. Yep, probably based in America this game. Anyways, I go ahead and plant my first crops. I chose randomly at this point and it was tomatoes. These plots take 2 seeds each. I take my bucket to the well and I see a highlight where I can use it, so cool. The game lets me know what objects can interact with what. Plop down goes the bucket. I manually raise it up again and I water my tomatoes. Looks like 2 times each? One dosage is worth 50% watered. These 4 plants took up half the water bucket. My god, that's ruthless, mate. I relocate all my seeds on the foundation there and I see the plants are growing, which is shown by the green bar. Once that maxes out, I imagine they'll be ready to harvest. I slap down the sprinkler and it says that there's no windmill in radius, so okay, I need to go ahead and make that. Here's my thoughts thus far, because I watered these like only so long ago and the water is almost 25% gone and they're at about 8% growth. So yeah, now the water is going to be intensive in this game, is it? Yes, at this rate I'd have to water these crops several times a day. It has only been 1 in-game hour and the water is already 25% evaporated, which is bloody insane. Windmill ASAP please. It's going to require 150 metal, and if memory serves me right, I'm looking at $1,500 to set this up. But it says it can fill up water troughs in a radius, which would sort my crops and my water supply for my chickens. I go ahead and check it up, and indeed for 50 pieces of metal, it's 500. So yeah, we're looking at 1,500. I currently have less than 500 in my pocket. Well, it looks like I will need to endure copious amounts of watering, and to begin that, I need to gather more wood for more crop plots. Hopefully farming makes me a decent amount. So for the majority of the day, I just go ahead with some deforestation on my ranch. I have so many logs but only 1 saw, I just can't keep up with it. My tomatoes are ready to go. It's the same day. That's really fast growth. But my guy with just his right hand picks the tomatoes 1 bunch at a time. I discovered that each crop provides me with 4 bunches, all individually picked, and they're all separately stacked into this UTV. Goodness gracious me. I've had to water these 3 times over the course of the day, and they're ready now. So they took a full day. I planted them this morning, so it's still the same day. So that's actually, I mean, these are miracle fruits, I will be completely honest. Now, tomatoes, they usually regrow, don't they? I believe so. I mean, I'm using my vast Stardew Valley knowledge here. I can assume that tomatoes are a multi-harvest crop, and indeed, they are. As I'm watering these, they start the growth cycle yet again. And with 16 bunches of tomatoes, I go ahead and drive to the store. I see that I get $7.74 for each bunch. That's pretty damn good, actually. It involves some labor, sure, but no need to feed these guys like the chickens. So I go ahead and expand my farming plot in the middle of the night, and I share something interesting. Interesting thing about this game as well, interesting thing about this game, there is no pause button. The game will always run. If I press escape here, the time will continue to run and all that sort of stuff. It was designed to be played with multiplayer, co-op. So what does that mean for me? Well, if I ever have to leave my PC, I have to shut the game down. It's not really something I like doing, if I'm completely honest. This is my second attempt at this game. About 7-ish months ago, I gave it a try. I saw that I couldn't pause the game back then, and my son, who was about 1 at the time, was still a bit of a restless sleeper. I picked it back up again in April 2026 and, well, here we are. And it's also here that I realized I can open up the tailgate of my UTV, which allows me to stack planks into the back here. Now that is a lovely load of planks. They also have glue-like properties as they don't fall out of the back as I drive. In the morning, you can see that I have bell peppers planted here. I wanted to test out each of the crops and see which one I liked. I also made use of my new UTV knowledge, and I brought all those logs closer to my work area so I can saw them at the same time while working on my crop field. Now, thankfully and luckily, I don't have to water my crops. It is raining right now. Okay, at least it's gonna be raining and... What? It is raining, yes? Okay then. Does this game not register rain, does it? That is hugely unfortunate, isn't it? Oh, you're joking me. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh yeah, unfortunately, Ranch Simulator doesn't allow rain to water your crops. I might have an idea why, but I'll share that later. But for now, all this has done is compel me to get a windmill quicker. So in the interim, I will expand this field and manually water these. Crops grow really fast in this game. I have bell peppers, or capsicums as that's what we call them in Australia, plus tomatoes, pumpkins and cabbages. The latter grew the fastest, but they are a single crop fella and quite hard to stack. Capsicums come in 3 bunches per plant, and I'll be honest, they are a nightmare to stack, but I do have more of them. This is so painful to watch, but there is an easier way to do this. But for now, I started to test the existence of my chickens. Crops are quick and easy. Chickens are slow, tedious, and they have an upkeep for food and water, which are expenses I wasn't really willing to commit to just yet. I got 10 eggs stored in this egg basket in the back there, and a whole bunch of other stuff that could potentially also go in a basket. However, it is called an egg basket specifically. Cabbages go for $6.25 each, capsicums for $2.80, and eggs are worth $8.31, which was nice but dragged down because of the general consumption prices. Fuel is also a thing. I got a few extra jerry cans and I fill them all to the brim. Watermelons are next on my list to try out. I opened up another bag of feed for my fowls, and I spent way too long for my liking trying to locate their eggs in this pen that blend so well with the grass. So as a result, I finally decided I'm gonna pass on the chickens for now, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick to the farming. Speaking of which, I have some eggs in this basket, and I'm slapping all these tomatoes, they're about the same size, onto the UTV next to it. Tomatoes are a solid strategy thus far, always growing, and they sell for a good amount. I have an accident. Oh, wow, okay. I'm a god, apparently. Yeah, I doubt that, because you just bought all those wheat bags despite the fact you were about to sell all of your chickens, you idiot. Maybe I can do animal breeding in the future. Perhaps that could be a thing. Now luckily I can sell these chickens for the same price I bought them, so except for those lost expenses, I get a full refund. Maybe animal breeding is a good idea. Now here's my brightest idea to date. I now have these useless egg baskets just sitting around. Can I use these to pick up crops? And yes I can. I can take them straight off the plant and put them into this basket. Also, this plant was sick. The only option I had was to remove it, and now I have a vacant spot I need to reseed. Luckily those packets came in tens. Here's a pumpkin and a watermelon. I tried to cram them into the egg basket, but they were too chunky apparently. They sold decently well, but they were a single-use crop, meaning I'd have to resow the crop field every single time I harvest them. I wondered if there was any other containers I could use, and I did see this cooler. Maybe I can slap the pumpkins and watermelons into these. A fun fact, I never tried, but it does have room for 24 spaces as opposed to 40. I had bought a second bucket, and the idea was I'd let this one drop down, and then I'd only have to hoist the second bucket up. I may shave a few seconds off each refill, so I'm just trying to be efficient here, but this is looking nice. It's a small start, but hopefully I'll have a passive income shortly when I have enough for a windmill. As I was minding my own business, I saw another bell pepper plant had died. I made the choice that because these fellas sell for very little, seem to keep dying off, I'm going to replace them. At this point, a whole field of tomatoes was sounding pretty good, but I had a few others I had to test out. But I am very pleased I had discovered I can pick up smaller veggies in these baskets, so I was starting to plan ahead. I drive to the trader with another load, and as I do, I get annoyed that I have to weave my car in between so many trees. My cash on hand exceeds $1,400, and I cut down all these trees, making a path towards the trader. The idea was to clear the path so even at nighttime, I should be able to fly up this hill without colliding with any trees. I loved strawberries back in Stardew Valley, and I have them planted here. Too bad one of them has already died just after one harvest. Are all crops just like this? Even the pumpkin, so yeah, it looks like crops failing is a big thing in this game. The pumpkins, by the way, sold for $13.65 each, and the strawberries for $5.44. And after the sale, I had finally made $1,500 with 64 cents to spare. Here's a future achievement for you. Millionaire. I've made about $6,000 thus far, but a bit of that was from the previous session as well. Now this windmill took 150 metal. It cost me $1,500. Before placing it down, I planned out where I would like my crop field to potentially expand to, and there's the future windmill, now brought into creation by throwing stacks of metal at it. I can toggle the area visibility to see how far it reaches. Oh, okay. So let's... Oh, I could not have done that any better. That is fantastic. Oh, that is amazing. Oh, that is huge. Okay, I did not know how big this area was going to be. But goodness me, if I end up getting this greenhouse up and running, I have literally just covered it. Oh, I'm so pleased with how that has ended up. Okay, so now it is time to test out the sprinklers. From the looks of it, I can do 4 large crop plots like this. I can actually pick it back up again and place it somewhere else and manually activate it. But I will be working towards having full water automation soon enough. Now, sadly, I made an error here. A future me knows this. In-game me didn't. I slapped the sprinkler just on the foundation of the greenhouse floor. Of course, this is not gonna work. I'll reveal how this would have worked much later, but currently I couldn't figure out a way to water the crops efficiently in this greenhouse, so I decided just to keep my plots outside for now. The final 2 crops I wanted to test were the pineapples. They're big boys, and I didn't try putting them in a container, sadly, and also these grapes that are taking their sweet time to grow, by the way. I redesigned the farm with a lot of crop plots in mind. The goal was to have about 50 of them. I tried to space the rows so the sprinklers could get both sides, using the smaller plot purely to get a good distance. Breaking down structures gives you back half the resources you used to make the thing, and I reused them in this new spot. I had already decided on tomatoes at this point, but I wanted to give the grapes a good go, but because they take so long, it was a no from me. They take twice as long as the tomatoes. I was selling everything back at this point, but you can see the grapes sold for over $23 each. That's 3 times more than the tomatoes. God damn it. Editing me, writing the script right now, things past me made a very big mistake choosing the tomatoes. Even the pineapples sold very well, but I never tried picking them up in a cooler, which means I may have missed out on better crop options due to time taken to grow things and the logistics of selling them. But anyways, my thinking at the time was tomatoes grew daily. I can pick them up in the egg baskets, meaning I have a daily source of income that is relatively simple. My decision was made, and I locked in my future crop field. I checked how far I could expand out, and I started to grind out all the wood I would need. I had this cheeky dare just stare at me the entire time. I decided to shoot him, because there is a quest for hunting animals, but I wondered, could I put deer meat in a container? I was slapping it in my car one by one before. No longer. I discovered a cooler can be used to carry heaps of meat. I am glad I can transport all these planks, it makes it so much easier. And I've nearly cleared a path I can follow to the store now. I discovered that some trees on the edge of the ranch are uncuttable, so outside of my property I guess. Also, by the way, It is raining right now. My first harvest is ready. Luckily, I haven't planted these other rows because I realized the spacing here wasn't big enough. These first two are fine. I can gather them by walking on the outside, and this next lot will be rebuilt with bigger spacing in between. This was a lot of wasted time in the early game trying to figure things out, but that's the way it goes when you're playing something new. Now, something important, very important. I didn't notice just now as I saw this lot. I peddled my tomatoes for $6.54 each. They sold for over $7 before, a sign of what's to come. I then checked the price of wood, $32 for 8 planks. Yeah, not bad if I had the money to spend, but right now I decided to continue logging myself. So enters a bit of a grindy stage in this game, slowly expanding my crop field. However, I got a second saw, the better one, so I can do this a bit faster. Maybe I should get 2 of these, maybe even 3, and I slowly expanded my field. My old crappy table saw ran out of juice. Can I get a full refund for this thing? Oh, by the way, it's raining again as I'm gathering my next harvest. I'm selling next, but I wasn't looking at the sell prices. I'm selling them for $4.50 now, but because I had more, I was just glancing at the total sale prices and thinking I was winning in life. I'm at the hardware store afterwards and I sold that old table saw for $75, so not a full refund, and I bought another good one for $750. With these 2 bad boys, I could get into a decent rhythm of running back and forth with less downtime in between log sawing. I make a smaller table underneath the windmill, and I started keeping all my seeds on top of here so that they're easier to spot instead of among the grass. Looking at this, I have 10 rows of 5 crop plots. Each row has 10 tomatoes, meaning 40 bunches in total. The egg baskets can hold 40 items, so I wanted to have a basket for each row. I like how the only thing I've really built is a large crop field, but look at the massive amount of deforestation I've already done. However, I have finally finished off all the crop plots I had in mind. It's day 9 now, and I started this like almost a week ago. In that time, I've developed this. Check out my harvesting technique. I strafe a column and I spam the E button. Some crops die, of course, and here is a nasty revelation. Okay, well, here we go. Let me in, thank you. Let's see what I can sell to you, love. So in terms of selling, I can make $500 today. Okay, let's sell all. What? These tomatoes are now selling for half the price they were before. Am I overflooding the market with just too many tomatoes? Is that my understanding? I mean, that could be a thing. That could very much be a thing. Yup, the game has diminishing returns. I had just committed so much time and resources to growing a tomato-specific crop field. I didn't want to deal with destroying crops as well at this time, so I decided just to go ahead with it regardless. Looking back now, I wish I diversified a bit, but oh well, it is in the past. And I have completely set up this field. I'll be able to grow 400-ish tomatoes in a single day. I've bought enough baskets, and I placed them at each row so I can quickly grab one, pluck an entire section, and dump it in my car and get on to the next one. But for now, I wanted to change it up a bit. I took a cooler with me and I set up for a bit of a hunt. I do not see any reddish in the distance. Thus, that gives me the inclination that there are no deer from— oh, no. Hey, buddy. Such a polite greeting, but understandably, the deer wants nothing to do with me. Also, that's 9 out of 10 wild animals hunted now, and 5 seconds later I have received that particular achievement. I carried on, and I saw a bear a little bit later. This guy took a few shots before he went down. I came across another ranch. I drive through this fella's wheat field, which is really quite rude. However, the fella has a few quests for me. The first one is deconstruction. He wants me to wreck his old barn, which I'm more than happy to do. I was done within the hour, and he paid me $400 for my trouble. Damn, that's a good hourly wage. And I also see there's a part-time job achievement, so I will have to find some more quests. This fella did have a few more, but I decided that I didn't want to do quests just yet, so I abandoned them because my crop field is my current priority. I also find a radio tower here. That really reminds me from that radio tower in Raft. I don't have a 100% video of raft on this channel, but if you would like one, go ahead and let me know. I go to a random store here, and when I enter this place, I see I could sell things here and they may buy things at an increased value if that particular item is on today's special. I might have to make use of this actually, but for now, I see this burger joint will buy my wild meat for $18.45. I thought I may have found a better dealer, but at the general store I see it's the same price offer, so they're all connected. This house blueprint of mine has been sitting here for probably a week in game. Maybe it's time to go ahead and sort this out, and I start grinding out the materials for it now. And I slap it all down into this blueprint. I don't even use a hammer at all for this, but I do get to circumvent this shadow building and I place the planks where they need to go, which was pretty satisfying. I crash my UTV into a fence. I buy the last materials I need and voila! Hey! Build a house, home sweet home. Okay, let's go inside this house. Keen to see what this is all about. Inside is a cozy little place, a radio and a couch, though the radio is broken. A bit of storage, some space over here, and I see that this note from Grandpa is eternal. It has stayed in the same place where it was originally, and it clips into this building. Good stuff. I set my eyes on the tiniest kitchen I've ever seen, but here's the upstairs. Oh, this is actually pretty cozy. Yeah, this is actually very cozy. I don't mind this. Can I turn this on? I go ahead and spend some time watching this real estate channel. It was a banger. The tunes even got me bopping my head. Moving on, it is time for a full harvest. I back my car up, employ some awesome harvesting skills, and I lament the fact that on this occasion, 5 of this row's crops have died, which is pretty brutal. But I still get the tomatoes for this occasion. I stack my load onto my UTV, and I race off with 10 baskets of goodies. I have 392 tomatoes, which sells for $3.30 each. Looks like that's the lowest price it will dip to, so I have my daily income of just under $1,300. I'll take it. I'm also now 11,000 towards that million achievement. So finally, my daily income source has been sorted, and I read the animal glossary to see what I want to start with. Here's a list of the animals you can buy in this game, your standard farm critters. I did see that across all animals you can milk them, share, or in this case with the pigs, it simply says you fatten them up and slaughter them for the meat. I gave up on the chickens before because of that daily upkeep. I can have the water sorted with that tower because I can make the drinking troughs within range. There is also horses you can buy, and it says they have different stats like stamina and speed, which is giving me nostalgia for my old Ark Survival Evolved videos where I bred T-Rex armies and I tried to get the best stats, so I can expect something similar here. However, the cost of the animals is ultimately going to make up my choice right now. I'm not going to say all the prices, but generally, chickens are cheap, cows are expensive, but there's 2 kinds, dairy and beef, indicating one is for milking and the other is for slaughter. Pigs are also quite cheap, and goats and sheep are more expensive. I explored my manual again this night and I see that there's a whole section dedicated to constructing barns, so that's good to know. It may be expensive, I'm not too sure. So ultimately I came back to the chickens and the coops. I might be ready to give them another go now. I do see the water and food bowl, so that's going to be useful information. And also this granary here, it is the thing I want to make if I want to automate their food. It fills all food troughs within a radius, so exactly the same as the windmill. I'm ready to start. It begins with destroying this old coop area, and I started placing down this little 2-story house for the future chickens. It says it can house 20 of them. I want to make this a symmetrical area with a secondary coop like this one on the opposite side. This is how it's looking a little ways in, and this was the final layout. Any small gaps I just covered after the fact, but you get the idea. Now, have you ever seen a man talk to a windmill before? Hey buddy, can I turn you on? Hey buddy, can I turn you on? Goodness me. Okay, I can see where the water trough thing is. So how about... Yep, the outline here shows where I can place these water bowls, and the water tower will be able to reach them. I quickly remade that pen before adding the wood, starting with the fence, so this time it was a perfect enclosure, and afterwards I placed the coops inside. A little bit later, and I ran into a problem. Okay, this can be problematic. I was doing this just now off camera, just preparing for the next session of harvesting, and the trees fell on top of my ute. This could be problematic for us, I think. Oh dear. However, I am a magician. I press and hold R and the car magically flips itself over and I get an achievement for it. I go ahead and load up on materials, harvest my crops, destroy and replant any failures of the bunch, and past me was able to confirm for himself that these tomatoes will sell for $3.30 each from now on. It was over $7 initially, but I flooded the market and I wasn't too keen on diversifying. A shame now that I think about it. Anyhow, this first coop is done and it's looking very schmick. It also has a little staircase, so I imagine chickens can stumble and fall off the edge, but oh well. There's also a section underneath, and I get the idea that I should place their water and food bowls down there. It'll keep their food dry at least from all this rain I'm getting. I can see this water trough is full, so yes, the windmill does interact with it. I slept to awaken on the morning of day 12, and I scoped out that the granary will require 50 concrete and 125 metal. I planned it out next to my coop area as I wanted it to reach any future barn locations as well. I then got the achievement for driving 45 kilometers at this point. Now 45 is a small number, and 1350, which was more, was spent next on the materials for that granary. This is what it looks like. I see that with these I have the option to fill them for $200. I tested out those grain bags I had and they're pointless, I can't do this. But being able to fill these up whenever I want to is such a huge bonus. I didn't want to buy 20 chickens at the same time, so I go ahead and buy 3 hens and this 1 rooster. The idea was I can breed these chickens and then sell them. I should get $50 for each one sold. It is currently raining again, so I'm glad I chose to make these enclosed homes. It should keep them nice and dry. Also, here's a slight clue of a headache I'm yet to encounter. I swear to God, mate, if you try to escape, I'll end you. You were trying to escape, you were just walking so you conniving little fella. Did you see the instant I closed that gate? The chicken did a 180 and it went the other way. Yeah, I'm gonna touch on this again. For now, I have a load of stuff to sell, including water barrels I bought but no longer need it. I also enclosed this granary and I started to think about my first barn section. My chickens are pooping quite a lot and I go ahead and get this composter, and I make a nice discovery that I can pick up all the seeds with these baskets as well. Still the worst customer service I've ever seen, mind you. Now, these plants dying so often is really starting to bother me. Is there something I can do about it? Seeds are cheap, but having to replace them so often is a headache. I discovered that there is medicine here for $100, but I swear in surprise at how tiny this bottle is. It has 8 uses. I'm not too sure that's worth it, by the way. I didn't check it out just yet. I started construction of my first paddock instead. I used that area of effect from the granary as a guideline to see how big I wanted it. I'm pretty sure I'll have to make another windmill for water on the other side, but that's fine. My precision isn't too bad here. There's a hole, yes, I'll get over it, but a large mammal isn't going to fit through there. You can destroy plants as you need, and I tested out the barn outside first. There's a front, back, and a middle section. This allows you to make the barn as big as you want and close it up with the front and the back sections. There's also barn stalls, so you could even break up the room a bit. So when I was ready, close to the chicken coop side, I line up the back of my barn. Once I was happy, I slapped the 3 middle sections on it, and I closed it up with the front portion now. Boom. My God, that's almost flush, isn't it? Yeah, I'm actually pretty pleased with that. I'm not even fussed with that at all. I set up all the side doors and this big sliding barn door in the front. I then completed the plan with stalls in the middle section. I imagine I'll have milking machines and such, so I wanted to leave the front and back end spaces free for those contraptions. I see that the water tower is only barely touching the back of this barn, but that should be fine, I expected this. I also set up a second barn, but this one is going to be empty for now. The other one that's in range of the water tower will be populated first. Here's a wide view of what I'm planning out thus far, and I also spotted a dead plant here and I tried to use this medicine, but I'm not seeing any prompt and my guy just drops this expensive thing like an idiot. Is this the correct medicine? Is this for maybe the large wheat farming on those large crop plots? I tried using it on the plants I see were slightly sick. It's that grey bar at the bottom that indicates that, but no luck as to using it yet. When I sold my next batch, I tried to look for any kind of instructions over here, but no. It is also raining again, twice on day 13 now. The roads are very slippery. The rain continued well into day 14. I'm gonna stop mentioning it now. It rains a lot in this game, sometimes 3 separate storms per day. I'm guessing the reason the developers prevented rain from watering your crops would be you'd never have to water them. I don't know, but it's an idea that popped into my head. As I'm building here, I realized something. Is the fence the same on both sides? It's not. I just realized I've got these fences the wrong way. Yeah, nah, I'm gonna live with that. It's perfectly fine. For goodness sake, I'm not going to go ahead and redo all of these fucking fences. Nah, that is just not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Truer words have never been spoken. The barns are the same as houses. In regards to planks, you just have to place them individually, which I don't mind. It makes it feel nice when you're putting it all together. When I complete one side, the safety ladder magically disappears beneath me, and I fall. Luckily, I stick to my landings each time. I chop up more trees later, because I am planning on expanding into this section, so I do need to clear this land here. However, there is a giant metal windmill here. Whatever shall I do? It says remove the trash. And just like that, this giant slab of metal is gone. I can tell you one thing, my fella's a goddamn superhuman. That is not normal. I must be Clark Kent. Yeah, I should have named myself Clark Kent, if I'm completely honest. I think that's much more appropriate. Yeah, I loved watching Smallville back in the day. Now finally, here I see a crop that is half diseased, and I do have the option to cure it. But then I see one next to it, and it's at 25% diseased or so, and no prompt. Meaning you'd have to spot these before they get too bad, which is, really hard to do if I'm completely honest. I'm always doing something else. Looking at these bottles, these 8 uses, which are so time sensitive, cost me $100. The tomato seeds, for 10 of them per packet, cost me $30. Yeah, it's actually just easier to replace them when they die, in all honesty. However, I made the process simpler for me. I keep the seeds in a basket now, and I carry the basket with me whenever I have to replant. It saves me having to run back to that little table when I run out. And I do have misclicks sometimes. Wrong one, you fool. God damn it, that was a healthy tomato plant, you idiot. Rips the entire thing out. It's like this healthy plant. Yeah, no, we don't do that here. Goodness me. I also get a little bit daring. It's been a hard days. Oi, mate. Oh my god, okay, fair enough. I won't be trying that again. I try to take someone off the road and they take me off the road. Good lord. But I'm driving this crappy vehicle I put together myself by hand. Well, this little UTV braves heavy rain every day while I make my shopping trips, and it was worth it because I have my first bun done, looking good. I forgot to place down the food and water troughs in here, and that's all completed now as well. I just made sure to put the water trough in the corner there, in range of the windmill. It's been a little while and I checked the glossary again, and I decided to go with goats for milking and making cheese. To that end, I got a milking can here and also a small bucket. Not sure what I need just yet. That was the hardware store. At the general store, I see the milking machine, so obviously I'm going to get that. And I also got a male and a female goat. I had a moment trying to figure out how to get the goats in the car. It turns out I just have to press E when I'm leading them to the vehicle. Easy peasy. These are the first goats ever to experience going airborne, that's for sure. As soon as I take the goats out of the UTV, they try to do a runner. Cheeky fellas. And I also see the leash I have has a limit. If I run too far, the leash breaks and then they try to run again. I have to walk backwards for them. So here they both are, water and food sorted. Now, how do I milk this goat? With the bucket in hand, I do see a snap point. Okay, I shall press D. I shall press A. There's no milk. Oh, okay, I guess I'll try later. How about this big fella contraption? How does it work? I placed it down again, and I see there are suction caps down there. So I tried again, but still no milk yet. I read that I can make cheese, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I still have my daily source of income, so I will have money to spend. However, the game doesn't tell you specifically what stuff does. You kind of have to figure it out. But some machines are really easy to figure out, like the meat grinders. I see the cheese mold for the goats here, so okay, cool. And back at the hardware store, it's the same thing. But I see this compact cooker. There was also a pan at the other place, so maybe I use these two two together. So as I get back to the barn with a cooker, mold and a pan, I try to enter my own barn. As soon as I open the door, a goat tries to leg it, so I have to hold on to him as I put everything inside. Just as I finished, I close the door, and I see as soon as I do, the goats lose interest. Really, it's like whenever a door is open, they go for it. Anyways, the cooker and the pan do snap together, so I'm onto something. It's currently 7 PM at night, and I am milking Barbara. That timestamp is very important, mind you. And after I milked enough, I got the achievement to fill a bucket of milk. I pour it into this pan, which filled with milk now goes onto the cooker, and it starts to cook. When do I add the mold? Probably before you start cooking it, maybe. But there was no prompt. I grabbed the product when it was done. What is this, cheese? Well, the achievement tracker down there lets me know that yes, you have made your first cheese thing. I leave the barn. Kevin tries to come with me. God damn it, mate. 1 curd of cheese sells for $39. That's not bad. But I didn't add mold or age it or anything, actually. It's the next morning and I milked Barbara again. I see that she's pregnant, indicated by that little pacifier there, so Kevin has been busy. I tried the process again, but saw no prompt to add the mold. Fun fact, I have to pick it up and just add it. But as I tried to throw mold at a cheese curd, I remembered something else. Actually, I think I know what I need to do here. I think I need to make like a preserving bin for cheese. I see. Preserving bin for meat. Okay. Used for cheese production. Okay, that's not too bad. I can do that. I tried the milking machine again. It's not working for 2 reasons. A, I milked Barbara like 1 hour ago, and B, the big milking can that is supposed to collect the milk is not attached to the machine. There is no time for thinking, apparently. I start planning out where I want these cheese preservers to go. Kevin tried to escape again, and I planned out a little section with a storage table and a light source. The chickens are doing fine, by the way. Fun fact, I completely forgot about them, but their food and water are automated, so I didn't really have to worry. Now here is where the action is. This light source makes it really cozy. I see the cheese curd goes in here. Cool. Does the mold go in here as well? No, it doesn't. But clearly, you put mold in a sealed bag into this preserver. Classic idiot here. Nah, I took it out, and I saw the cheese aging, so this shouldn't take too long. So I gathered some planks to finish off these tables, while Barbara and Kevin staged another great escape. I have to say, these goats are really keen to get back outside, aren't they? Gotta go. Oi, 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 oi. Come back in here. No, okay. Okay, this could be problematic. Come back in here. Wait, Kevin. Kevin. Boy, fella, come back in here. Oh, okay, yeah, now this is stupid. Okay. Okay, I need to close this door. Come on here, Kevin. All the way towards the back. Oh, for okay, you know what? Fine. You two can go out in the rain. It's fine with me. See what I care. Did I leave a gate open? Oh, no way. Did I do that? Where do you two think you're going? Excuse me. Get your bloody ass back here. Okay. I can see this being a problem. Okay, I can see this being a huge problem. Is that gate shut? It is. Okay, let go of you. Reason number 1, the animals are insufferable in this game. I've already hinted at it, but these little bastards will, without fail, always run at an open door, all at the same time. All of them. Anyways, later I discovered I used this milking can to make this milking machine actually work. Another cheese is cooking, but still no mold. But here's an aged cheese, it looks brown, and no mold can be added just yet. So here's a healthy cargo of stuff, and the aged cheese, or goat cheese, sells for $75 each. That is awesome. I'm pretty keen to see how much the mold takes it up to when I figure it out. I won't wait until then, so I start buying some more female goats at this time, and I wanted to get into the milking in this game. I had 1 male goat, called Kevin, which I'm yet to make a decision on. For now, I take these 2 home. I can only get 2 at a time with my UTV. I had to get more pans on the last round, and well, I struggled to find space. Okay, I can't complain. That is, Hey, if it works, it works. I'm not gonna complain. Oh, that's funny. That was good. I enjoyed that. However, the struggle with so many animals and trying to get them inside their barn whilst they're also trying to escape really started to bother me quite a bit. And look, there's a baby goat. A past me only just saw this. It's the morning of day 17. Okay, so it is a beautiful day. I now am the proud owner of a car that has been having its lights on the entire night. Let's turn that off. But no, most importantly, we have got ourselves 5 female goats at the moment who can produce us milk. I'm very curious to see how this is going to work. So this is what it looks like in here right now. Oh, here we go. Here are the goats. My goodness gracious, they all just rise up. And we have this little baby one. Create conditions for a chicken to hatch. Oh, okay, apparently I've achieved that. I continued working this morning, milking all 5 female goats. I found this milking machine to be really quite handy and easy. Sometimes it was just a little bit off with the hitbox on where you place the suction caps, but it wasn't too much of a bother. Yet. The machine was also stationary, so I simply picked it up, moved it to the other goats I still had to milk, and there you go. This may foreshadow that I may have bought 2 of these contraptions. At this point, I finally uncovered the mystery of the mold situation. The pans had to be set up with the cookers. Milk goes in first, then mold, and then I turn on the cooker, and voila, I get molded cheese. Before, when I placed the pan of milk on the cooker, it automatically fired up, never giving me the opportunity to add mold. Anyways, 5 of these cooking at the same time is really satisfying. The cheeses are all in this preserver thing, and now I just wait. Can I get more goats and more cheese makers? I don't see why not, this is easy enough. Now, I have this baby goat. Do I want to breed more goats or simply buy them? I choose to buy them, otherwise I will also get males and they don't produce milk, so I'm gonna pass on that. So with great sadness, I took Kevin home. He said his goodbyes to Barbara, and if you know which video I'm referencing here with the names, you have had a good chuckle in the past. I sold him for half the buying price, but I wasn't too fast. It's currently 4 PM on day 17. Remember when I mentioned times before? I discovered over the course of the game that I could milk the animals twice a day. In the morning when they wake up, so 8 to 9 AM, and then again at 4 PM on the dot. Not a second earlier. I tried. I poured my milks and I added the cheese mold, and while these went into the preservers, the previous 6, which I finished, got placed into the UTV. I'm pretty keen to see how much this sells for. At this point in time, I make one big sale a day. Look at this haul. One of the goat cheeses with white mold sells for 140. They sold for 75 before without the mold, so that's a $65 increase in selling profit. The white mold I bought for $150 and it has 5 uses. 5 times 65 is equal to 325. The original $150 I spent on this mold means I made an extra $175 from 5 cheeses with this process. So yeah, that's pretty decent. It's a bit of an initial big cost, but over time it's going to bring me in more money. I go ahead and I buy a whole bunch, but I was disappointed that I can't carry them in a basket. So right now I drove home with dozens of packets of mold in the back. I am sure this rain is good for it. I popped into the hardware store on my way home, and I spotted a bear on the other side of this fence. Keep that in mind if you can. And I also discovered that the coolers are the containers I need to use to store this mold, which makes sense. However, can I put one of these giant cheese wheels into a cooler? Yes, I can do that. So what was the capacity? 24? Well, I'm making sure I'm going to fill up one of these every single day with cheese, that's for sure. So with that idea in mind, I go and get more pans and coolers to prepare for this big boom in production. It is so pleasant, by the way, because I'm doing this at 1 AM in the morning. The goats are all sleeping and not crowding me as I'm trying to put this all into the barn. I did my chores in the morning, and I started to build this secondary cheese section on the opposite side. The goats kept bothering me, so I added the materials while I was standing on the outside of the barn. It worked. But it really did start to tick me off that they kept crowding me in this work area. I mean, to be fair, this is their barn, sure, but bugger off, mate. Go do goat things on the other side. I periodically checked up on my chickens, and that's it. I never really clean up in here, grab their eggs or anything. The numbers are growing and they're eating and feasting, so I left them to it. I've been doing massive material runs and wood chopping, so I have big stacks of wood ready to go when I want to build this other barn. The goats, however, weren't holding still this day, and I also fully realized that these animals have solid hitboxes in this game. Like, I can't walk through them. No, if they wedge me here, I am actually stuck. No matter, I have sold 12 cheeses later and I made $1,680. That's a hell of a bounty. I spent it on a second milking machine so that hopefully the goats would be in range of one of these contraptions when I do my rounds. I am simplifying my work and I have time now to expand, and I start the construction of my second barn, and I'm getting quite close to completing it. It's just got the stalls left. But it was nearly 4 PM and past me had clued on to the times and I was able to do my chores. With 2 milkers, it was easier, and I was happy that I could reach most of the goats now and also in the future. But also here, I started to really notice trying to grab the suction caps and placing them on these goats can sometimes be quite hard and frustrating. There was also no way of telling which goats I've already milked. I just had to pay attention. However, with finicky controls and goats that move around, that was often difficult. I discovered that each cheese production takes 4 liters of milk, and I would later learn I would milk 5 liters from each goat using this machine. 12 times 4 is 48 liters. I only really needed 10 goats to get 50 liters, and I would still have 2 liters surplus after each milking session. Regardless, I decided to get 12 goats anyways, because what if I miss milking a goat on a particular day? With 2 extras, I should always have milk for 12 cheeses that I want to make every session. Tomatoes are still a daily thing, by the way, and I get the last goats I would need for this operation. Now, more goats means more chances for them to block me. Like here, I was literally spewing. And even later still, this evening, I struggled to get back into my barn, and I lost my patience with these goats constantly blocking me at this point. I set up food and drink in the new barn because I was ready to expand. The next animal I was thinking was actually the sheep. I could also milk them, but I'd rather get them just for the shearing right now, and I wanted to see how that goes. This is how my driving goes. I should have my license revoked, but I do get the trimmer this day. I am so glad I didn't buy any sheep because I had an accident. Oh no. Oh no. Well, this is problematic. I like how my guy is just so nonchalant. He's like, oh yeah, fair enough, I've done this before. Oh, it's beautiful. Alright, get out of your vehicle. Alright, flip it. Flip it. See? Like nothing ever happened. This egg basket did not move. So you're telling me I can have sheep or whatever in the back of this vehicle. I can flip it and there'll be no consequences. Is that what I'm gathering from this? Goodness me. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, well, I had to sort out the water supply for these sheep first. This barn was out of range of the first water tower. The reason I wanted to share these future sheep, initially, was because of the milking sessions. They took quite a bit of time, especially when I kept getting cornered by a bunch of kids. Hopefully the sheep will be friendlier. I will be getting just female sheep as well. I don't want to worry about breeding, and if I decided to milk them, I can do that later. I made a new gate entrance in the center here that lined up with the opposite side, so it was easier to drive in and out. Also, it took maybe 5 minutes before I decided to check out the milking situation with the sheep. I wanted to see the final profit margins compared to the other goats. Speaking of, look at the finicky controls here. You can hear that I'm not impressed. Can you grab the thing, please? I'm looking right at it. Yeah, generally, I found the goats were the easiest to milk. Keep that in mind. For now, I go ahead and share my sheep. I can only carry one at a time, but they are stackable. I haven't tried putting them in a container yet. Now, the sheep I bought for $500 each, all females. The wool sells for $48. If I have a barn of 12 of them and I do that daily, I should make more than $500 a day. I don't know if there's a way to refine the wool, however. Take a look at this idiot at nighttime with his car light on, because that's the only way I can see to pick up 40 tomato seed packets. The service here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No! Imagine being the store person here. I buy a whole bunch of stuff from you. She takes a step outside and she just throws it all out on the floor here. God damn it. The creators of this game just thought, yeah, that'll do. Later this night, I came back again with one sheep cheese. It sells for 73. The goat's base cheese sells for 75, so yeah, that's exactly the same. However, I can also share the sheep, so realistically, sheep are better. So as a result, here I am at 1:30 AM picking up more sheep cheese mold. I'm a night owl here. So off camera, I had a bit of a whinge to my other half about these kids here bullying me. She just simply said, why don't you trap them in there? She's right. Why haven't I done that? For now, I was psyching myself up with a game plan. I've gone ahead and I've made a little table in here for this thing. So if I was, standing here, I can pick up these cheeses and put them on top of, the walls and put them on top of the wheelie automobile straight away. Wheelie automobile. Hey, that's sick. She is now dubbed the Wheelie Automobile from now on. At the store, I get the final figures on screen now. Sheep cheese mold versus goat cheese mold, 139.25 and 140, so yeah, that's exactly the same. Except again, the sheep give me wool, so yeah, this made up my mind to milk the sheep as well, so I started buying more. Now in between all this, I was escorting the goats to their new limited space while also explaining to them that this was their fault, and I gave them ample opportunities not to tick me off. Alright mate, come here. Yeah, no, you guys had a chance. You annoyed me enough. Call me cruel, but get in here, you filthy, slimy, mangy character. Oh yeah, I was fed up with them. I had a squiz at this $1 million achievement. Apparently 0.6% of people have this. It shows to me that this is difficult. Also, at the time of writing this, 3 million people have purchased this game. With that in mind, I was planning on making everything as simple as possible. By the way, the sheep are just like the goats in terms of their AI. All animals are. And I come to discover this over the course of the game. Another barrier is being installed as a result. While the rest of the world is sleeping, this night owl, who hasn't slept in days mind you, is buying materials for this new milking setup. It begins with aging cabinets, demonstrating some reckless moves with this wheelie automobile, and this is what the place is starting to look like now. I had wool here and I tried to toss them in this cooler. That didn't work on this occasion. How about an egg basket? No, not this one either. Damn, I do have to carry each of these individually, do I? Well, I do that, and I'm pretty sure that pan up there should be flying off, but hey, I'm just a rancher, who again needs to have his license removed.
Looking good.
Not a single emotion from him, he's just like, he doesn't care. He's like, I'm fine, this is normal. I was finally set up and ready to start the milking sessions over here, but as you can see, this is a good clip for it. I start to realize that the sheep may be a bother with the suction caps as well. Even more so. Just a little heads up, the sheep turned out to be the worst animals for milking. The goats are way better for this. However, I was still positive about this new sheep enterprise and I continued to buy all 12 of them. So I endured my morning routine. It was cramped, I am trapped, and I'm also unable to grab the nozzle. Oh, this was starting to bother me. I couldn't get out, and I was starting to wonder, maybe I should build larger spaces outside. However, that still has the problem of them going out of range of the milk machines. But anyways, this is a huge amount of cheese, and I made about 2,400 for this transaction. It's the morning of day 25, and I accidentally activated the first person mode. No idea how to take it back. Anyways, I tried the outside idea for the sheep. The first person view when you're carrying wood is not great, so I quickly looked it up on how to fix it. Maybe first person mode would make the milking easier, but I never tried it. Here's another good haul for me. I made nearly 4,000 on this occasion. So what is next? I looked up the horses and I saw that you breed and sell them. Reminds me of my Ark Survival Evolved days breeding my Rexes. I interact with this bus sign and it takes me to a horse auction. I'm at this stage and all mate up there is just blabbering like an auction man. There is a fine horse there with all its stats and its current price, and I am bidding against these two fellas. I can skip whenever I want to. However, I do see the next horse, female, and it has max stamina and handling, crap speed and health, but this sounds like a good buy, so I joined in. The bidding price started at just under 6 grand, and it's now 7.5. I only have 10,000 on me. I didn't want to spend all my money, so I left. I wasn't sure that was the right choice at the time, but regardless, I have no enclosure or anything, so probably for the best. I did start another enclosure now, but for another barn animal, I'm not too sure which one yet, and I have it planned out in no time. I also made the choice that I was done with the sheep. They were incredibly difficult to milk, and it was beyond frustrating. The goats were much better for this, so I decided I was fine with them. Also, never eat and drive. Good me. I took my hands off the keyboard so I can eat some chocolate, expecting the car to roll to a stop. Oh no, it keeps going. Yeah, fun fact, if you go a certain speed, the car will just keep rolling along. On to my next animal. How about dairy cows? I already have the setup for it. Cows are bigger, so they shouldn't be that hard to milk, right? So under the cover of darkness, I stole away with the sheep's wool one last time, and then I took them back from whatever hellscape they spawned from. Luckily, I get a full refund for them, which makes me very happy. I also noticed that at midnight, the game time usually speeds up, and by 6 AM, it slows down again. But I managed to get all the sheep sold this night. I got stuck with the goats later, and I made a bad choice of destroying a stall, and I had to scramble with my build menu to plug the gap. But when I did this, I asked myself, why do I have stalls? I might actually go ahead and destroy them later, but for now I do need to go ahead and buy some cows. I wasn't sure this heifer would fit on my car. Nope, the prompt tells me that this cow won't fit in this car, so it's time for some exercise, I guess. Okay, I need to go get a trailer. Actually, I just need to go get a new... Excuse me, no, come here, you filthy cretin. Oh, no way. Oh, no way. You're gonna run like this, are you? Am I going to outpace you by going backwards? You fat heifer. Oh, God, okay. Well, I have learned my lesson. Can I just not drive the car and, you know... Come here, you. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to go get a new vehicle if this is the case. I do have the money for it, and realistically, it's probably time to do. Okay, can I be completely honest here, people? I'm looking at my phone here. Apparently cows can run 40 kilometers per hour. It's their maximum. So, okay, that's their maximum. Let's say we're going to be generous here and say that this cow can probably run 20 kilometers per hour. I am doing the back pedal right now, and I am outpacing this heifer. Come here, you. Your destinies with a milk pan. Yeah, looks like I'm building some good relationship with my animals, that's for sure. I had one cow, and unlike the sheep, I'm going to test this out first. How easily can I remove and attach the suction caps? They are thankfully much better than the sheep, that's for sure. So I'm running up the hill to get my car back. My guy doesn't stop once, what a unit. But I leave my vehicle at home because I need new wheels, so I'm running some more to the car dealer. I notice here that some cars are locked behind a paid DLC. This awesome car is, unfortunately. But luckily for this game, I didn't have to buy the DLC to get the achievements. For now, I got this truck for 2,500. What year is this? Where can I buy a truck for 2,500? Look, there is so much room for activities here, or 3 heifers in this instance. I hope those bovine know how to hold on, because they're going for a hell of a ride right now. These cows are going for a hell of a ride right now, goodness me. Also, like a glove? Literally. Good golly almighty. What is it with the animals trying to leg it as soon as they can? It wasn't that much of a bumpy ride. Now at the stall, there is blue cow mold and white cow mold. 125 for the white and 230 for the blue. I wonder which is better. I'll better get both. Now, it was time to tend to the goats today, and I have a very unfortunate occurrence next. And demolish this one. No! Oh, you're serious right now. I don't believe this. I don't believe this for a... Is everything open outside? Yes, of course there is. And I can't get through them! No, you're serious. Righto, so I reloaded my game, and I had to do everything again. The last time I saved the game was after buying the first cow, but I made sure to go and clear the stalls before I did all that. It does make it more spacious in here, and later I finally saw the humor in my incident. Just destroy the thing, and all these goats are just like, freedom! Anyhow, I get on with the third barn and leave out the majority of the stalls this time. Also, guess how much milk a cow gives me? Oh my god. What the hell? Are you serious? No way. Okay, wait. I was in disbelief. Each cow gives me 14 liters of milk, which is pretty damn huge. Now, how much goes in the pan? 7 liters gets used for each cheese. I mean, this is still double the amount of cheese goats give me, but I need to test out the numbers, so mold goes into a few of them. I have set up 4 separate milking machines, so that wherever these cows are in this paddock, I should be able to reach them. I head out for the day, and I do some acrobatics again. It's a good time. I got the materials needed for barn number 3. Not sure what animal goes here yet. Okay, so remember, a white cow mold I buy for 125. And the blue mold for 230. Cow cheese by itself sells for 90. The white mold one sells for 130, so $40 profit. 40 times 5 is 200. Minus that 135 for the mold means I make $65 profit for the white cow mold. It's Blue cow mold, it sells for 195. That's 105 extra profit. 525 for the 5 cheeses minus 230 is equal to 295 profit overall. There's a clear winner here. It's the blue mold. So naturally, I pick up a whole bunch from the ground. So off camera, I made a bit of a discovery, and here I am fixing up my second coop. I go ahead and buy new roosters and some hens for the occasion, and my discovery involved their eggs. Here I am taking a bunch of their eggs to the cheese factory. After I've added milk and mold, I also add an egg to this recipe. I was very keen to see how much this price bumps up now, but this is a lot of things to add to the mix, and it's getting pretty click intensive. While I wait for them, I go ahead and get a few new heifers for my new section, and I make another granary close by to help with further expansion. The cheeses are ready, the ones with the eggs in them, and from memory, eggs by themselves would sell for roughly $10 each, maybe a little bit less. And here we have it. A blue cheese mold by itself sold for $195, remember? But with the egg added, it sells for $205. $10 more. The goat cheese mix originally sold for $140, and they now go for $150 with the egg. So that's a flat $10 increase. I might pass on that. The eggs sell for pretty much that anyways, but with the egg mold cheese mix thing, that's extra logistics, extra clicks, and extra time for the cheese to age. Yeah, that's not worth it. The next animal is going to be the swines. Hopefully they will be worth it, and it looks like it'll be my first slaughter animal production setup in this game. I wanted to leave one stall in this place, so that when the time came, I could take this pig away and do the slaughtering privately. Also, I am not the worst driver in this game. Oi mate, I'm on the road here. God damn it. I was on my way for supplies, which, by the way, these days I just go ahead and buy everything I need. But on this occasion, I see the fuel trailer for the first time, which was a bit of a head turner. But right now, I go ahead and I get the stunner. And I see that there are manual meat grinders, manual sausage stuffers, or the electric versions of both. I grabbed the electrical ones, of course, for less possible mouse clicking. I tried to pop my wheels, but I failed in this endeavor. Also, you can tell I'm the father of a toddler. We're going on a treasure hunt. A very important treasure hunt. X marks the spot. A circle with the dot. Tight squeeze. Now you've got the shiveries. I also had a look at the achievements when I was out and about, because I'm gonna have to start knocking these down soon. There's a few horse achievements, specifically training a horse to maximum stats. I've no idea how long that takes, so I'm probably gonna have to look into that soon. So here's my game plan. Because realistically, I'm gonna be doing what I did in Ark Survival Evolved, which is getting the best horses that I can see in terms of their stats, you know, get a stamina one, get a what was it, steering or something like that, and then breed them until one of the offspring comes up with those stats, and then try and get that offspring to mate with something else that you want, so then that way you get the best stats possible for the game. That is my plan. For now though, let's take it slow and crash into the wall. Oh yep, no well thought out plan can begin without crashing into a wall first. There's also an achievement for selling oil, and I did see this drill rig. I'm yet to see an oil location, and funny enough, I've been driving over one every single day thus far. Anyways, the pig enclosure is good to go. I go ahead and buy 1 male and 2 female pigs to start this endeavor. I like that the single container must be removed from the back of this huge vehicle before I can load in the pigs, only so that I can put it back in afterwards. Come on. I start the meat grinding area, but I won't get to this just yet. I need to wait for these pigs to breed, and eventually once the numbers are large enough, I will start to slaughter them then. Speaking of animals, I see that bear is very close to the exit of the hardware store. Look, you leave him alone, and he will leave me alone. A simple rule of nature, just go about your business. But I'm loading my gun just in case. And sure enough. Ow! Oi, 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 mate. You filthy scoundrel. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, I need to, you son of a gun. Alright, can I jump over this fence? This is make or break? Yes, I can. Bloody Yogi, I swear. Alright, well, you saw it here first. It was coming right for me. I was minding my own business. I said to him as I arrived here that, mind your business, I'm just, doing my thing. Sure, I loaded up my gun, but that was completely in self-defense. I did not go looking for a fight. There I am, just, buying some wood. And next thing I know, I'm being mauled to death by a bear. Good lord. Of course, I had no space on my wheelie wheelie automobile, so I'm gonna leave him for now. It sends a message to the other bears. Back at home, I have these meat preservers. They're ready to go, and I'm pretty keen to see what this is all about. A thought, however. So I'm just cooking the cheeses here with these things as you do, normally in this game, and I'm just wondering, do I also use these cookers in some way, shape or form for the meat that I get from the pigs? I actually don't know. Can I? No, I can't do that. So it may be worthwhile to buy an extra pan or two and have it in that other room and see what the hell the go is there. While I wait to see that, I do start on this horse enclosure. I'm also going to build this horse training paddock because I'll probably need it to train a horse to maximum. I want to make a big paddock because I plan on having lots of horses. Also, remember when I said I drove over an oil node every single day? Yeah, it was just there. That bear is still here as well. The game doesn't despawn animal bodies. Well, until I have space in my car, he's a permanent statue then. So it's the morning of day 30 and I have this new horse paddock ready. These chunky hogs, with built-in AI clocks no doubt, rise as soon as it hits 8 AM. But more importantly, I see the females are pregnant as indicated by the little pacifiers next to their health bars. Now with this transaction of $7,000 coming to me, I will be just shy of $30,000. Enough to buy a horse, I think. So I visit the auction and I skip every single horse I don't want, and I quickly see one that I do want. Max speed and handling. The stamina and health are shocking, but I don't care. 2 out of 4 maximum stats is huge. I want this horse, and it's also a female, which matters. So $2,000 extra. From 6,300 to 8,300, I finally out-auctioned these two fellas beside me. There was an achievement to buy 1 horse with 1 max stat, so that's done. I galloped this mighty fine steed home. this is one fast horse. If I hold tab, I can see the stats again. The middle two stats were maxed out, but those 3 additional bars get added with every single horse after purchased, and that will be the maximum potential after training, which you'll see later. Right now, I had plenty of money left, and there's a male horse here with 2 opposite stats as the female maxed out. Oh yeah, gimme. I also bought him for 8,300 as well, actually. I pressed tab on this one, and remember those max stats you saw? All horses get 3 extra bars added after purchase. So I'm here just seeing how they ride in this training paddock. I make one single jump over this fence and I get a surprise. Wait, what? Okay, that's a little bit glitched, but I'll take it. I just magically jumped over 30 obstacles in the space of 5 seconds. I am just that amazing. Now, I was driving back home tonight after selling a bunch of stuff, and I've been spotting this dark patch here, and I was suspecting it was oil for a little bit now. I take out the oil rig blueprint, and yes, it snaps into place, which is a dead giveaway. My suspicions were correct. I bought some pants with my truck on this occasion, but I never expected this type of immovable object. Oh, that is bull. And that guy just happily skips away like the animal that he is. Well, I skipped my way to completing this oil rig. It was relatively cheap. It's hard to see, but once I fill this bad boy up, it can store a maximum of 1,000 liters of oil. I also saw a barrel icon, and I have been seeing barrels in this local store, but until I fill this thing up, I'm not getting any. A fuel has been bothering me, and didn't I just see a fuel tank before? Before I get to that, I spotted that my female horse is pregnant, so I'm pretty keen to see little ones galloping about in here. So it's the morning routine, and I have a bit of a pep in my step. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Move out of the way, heifer. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Ding ding. Oh, come on, son. It sounds like this was also when I was sick for a bit. And just before heading out, I see the female pig has spawned her younglings. 3 of them. They come in a litter, do they? I might have to keep an eye on those numbers in the future, eh? But right now, I get this fuel trailer for 1,800, and I see that it can store 1,000 liters of fuel. That is, huge. So how do I hook this thing up to my wheelie wheelie automobile? I line it up as best I can, and I tried looking for a prompt to hitch it or something. I failed to see the prompt when I was in my car. I needed to press C right now to hitch this trailer. No, we're going to buy a whole ass tractor to see if it has the hitch function. Okay then. Well, unfortunately, even if I can hitch it to this bigger vehicle, this tractor came with next to no fuel. Ironic that I will run out of fuel trying to tug a fuel tank out of here, which I bought for storing fuel. So I ran back for my wheelie wheelie automobile after buying a jerry can here, and also saying hello to Yogi, who's still here by the way. It's not until I come back when I finally see the hitch option. It only cost me 1,200 to figure that out, but I will need a tractor later anyways. It can stay here for now. What I get to do right now is stare at this thing fill up the fuel tank for a few minutes. 1,000 liters for $1,000. It sounds like a bargain, doesn't it? I doubt I'll be needing fuel again for the rest of the game. So I finally get to juicing up this oil rig thing. I turn it on and that's it. All I need to do is come back later for the oil. I started the morning of day 32 having a good look at the bees and what I need to do to get honey. Reading the glossary can be very helpful. I need to find beehives and bring a bee frame and a smoker with me. Also, I parked that fuel tank here, so getting topped up should be pretty easy and straightforward. I fueled up this tractor and I was hoping maybe I could hitch it back, but no. One day I'm just gonna have to leg it here and drive it back then. Anyways, I was here for the bee smoker and the hive frame. I got a couple of the frames because I'd like to get a few hives, which I have to find in the game world naturally. From the image before, there are white blobs on trees. I mean, with the way I drive, they will appear to be a blob, so I will need to keep my eyes open. I also made a beehive thing, which I'm gonna plop down here. I was looking through my ranch trees and I spotted a little baby horse here, which makes me think, none of these horses have names, and I'm gonna have to name them so I can keep track of their parental lineage. It'll help me with that stat maximization later. My selling sessions are climbing, 8,200 on this occasion. Don't mind the individual cow milk sales. I somehow got 1 liter and 6 liters in separate jars, and I couldn't make cheese with them. they weren't a 7. Oh well. I bought some things, but specifically a honey collection jar. I also bought animal air tags, and I named my female horse Epona. Clearly you know what series I played when I was younger, and I also got the achievement for naming my first animal. The male horse I called No Name, following my Stardew Valley tradition of course, but I didn't name the baby just yet. Now under this heavy storm, I have my beehive stuff, and I'm looking for exactly that. And after a little time, I do spot one. Lucky me. I placed down the smoker as this is supposed to distract or confuse the bees, and then I used this tray thing to scoop them up. I go back home, where I started to make this bee collection machine as well. I had turned off this smoky boy by this point, and when I approached the bees in that tray thing, they started accosting me. Make sure to keep that smoker on at all times here. I popped the tray into the bee box, and over time, they will make honey for me. That was easy. Now try to guess how long it takes me to find another beehive. It's the middle of day 32 right now. As I was driving by, I saw that the oil rig has 45 liters of oil here. At least I think that says 45, and I go ahead and I transfer it into this barrel. I am delighted to see that 45 liters of oil sells for $1 each, but there is 450 liters here because I made $450. I might be reading that right or wrong, but no matter. Oil is very lucrative from the looks of it. I was scouring the map for more oil nodes and beehives. In my travels, I found this little trailer park. For some reason, I can save and sleep in this other person's tent. And no one is here by the way, but there should be someone in this little fishing shack. There is one fella here. Not much for conversation, and the only thing I can do here is buy a rod, which I do for $100 and some random tackle as well. I wanted to go for a swim, but I had mistaken this game's title, Ranch Simulator, not Swimming Simulator, which makes me very sad. Anyways, I spent a good amount of time looking for more oil and hives and I came up empty. I did a quick Google and turns out there can be 2 active oil nodes on the map. This is one, and fun fact, I never found the second, but I did enjoy this gorgeous view from the top here, looking down on my ranch. I was done searching at this point, so I took the shortcut back home. It was faster of course, and surprisingly, I did minimum damage to myself. Absolute legend, mate. The beehive thing here is done. I guess it has accumulated as much honey as it can. I still need the smoker, so that's a permanent fixture now. And I put the honey into the extractor and I let it do its thing. While I waited, I did my usual routines and I experienced my usual frustrations. And when I returned, I saw I could slap this little honey barrel here, and now it's filling up with the good stuff. One tray gets me 1.4 liters. A fun fact, I have an achievement to completely fill up one of these barrels, but for now I saw that honey, 14 units of it anyways, sells for $6 each. That's meh so far, but with everything else, that's another 8,000 right there. The pigs are growing up. There's slightly bigger piglets and more little piggies, and this last is preggers again. However, so far there's only one baby horse here. The pigs seem to multiply very quickly. Now it's a new session of gaming for me, and it had been 2 weeks since I played Ranch Sim, as I was focusing on completing my 100% Subnautica video at this time. I had the intention of trying to build a very nice ranch at this point, so I go ahead and bought a lot of materials. I used my garage to stash all these things. It was actually the perfect place to act as a storage depot. It's been a while, and the chickens' numbers have exploded. I have been too busy with the other animals. I've slightly forgotten these fowls existed. I haven't named any of these pigs yet, and I thought that would be a good idea, so I don't lose track of the ones intended for breeding. I located the air tags, and I also noticed a second baby horse there, so that's some good news. The male pig's name is Pumbaa, as you do. Timon isn't right here, but anyways, this one is called that, and Timon for the other oinker. I decided to name one more male pig, and following a pattern here, this fella can be called Simba. It's fine, mate. I actually decided to pick up the eggs from the chickens, and I quickly realized why I never did this. They're often very hard to spot, and you pick them up one by one. If they're in the coops like this, it's fine, but they often lay them out on the grass. I gathered 107 eggs here. I missed a lot, I'm sure, and they sold for $9 each. It's a okay way to make money, and I just couldn't be bothered selling the chickens, as that would have been a logistical nightmare for me for only $50 as well. So the chickens just chilled. Speaking of chilled animals, this fella here looks like a Benjamin, doesn't he? Buy a pet. Now, Ben, where do you think you're going? Wee! Get back here, you. Oof, I almost thought I have owned a dog for all of 5 seconds just then. Well, at the moment, I couldn't put him in the car or anything. He just kept frolicking about. But I did say there was a collar package, a food bowl and pet food. So it looks like I have to feed this one separately. And no matter, I finally named him with this collar thing. Here we go. Ben. Now Ben, you're gonna have to run home. Apparently I can't put anything on you, mate. Which is a bit ridiculous, but okay. I guess I'll just see if Benny runs home. I hope he does. Yeah, I hope so too. I set Ben up outside the garage, and I saw that the water tower doesn't fill up his bowl, meaning I'd have to get those water barrels again. Well, while I'm here, I did look for him again, and sadly, I didn't see him. I couldn't lead him home or anything. Can I lead him home? I didn't dwell on it. I went back to the auction and this time I clicked on the sell tab. In this option, I see my horses on the right there. I have 4 of them, by the way, but there's no way to see which one is which. I select my horse number 4, which I can sell for about $8,000. There is no name there, but I only had the one male white horse, so obviously this is no name. He had max health and stamina when I bought him. He's not maxed out there anymore, indicating that I still need to train him. Out of the 3 females, one of them is Epona and the other 2 are the first offsprings. I imagine Epona is the cheapest one because I remembered she had awesome speed and handling, but trash stamina and health. Both the other horses have picked up stats from no name, but neither have maxed out their stats like I wanted to. Anyways, I reckon this will be the method that I used to make the money for the $1 million achievement. I bid for the other horse here with nice handling and health, and I ride him all the way home. I go ahead and I call this fella Buddy. If you're a long-term viewer, you know I sometimes greet NPCs and such with, "Hey buddy." So I am running up this hill right now. Don't mind that house there. I was planning on building a little something on the side on this ranch, but it was a scrapped idea. But what about Ben? What if I need to press the H key to whistle to him to get him to follow me? So I go ahead and I do that. I had to look this up by the way, and he's finally acting as my shadow. The reason I looked this up was because I noticed that his water bowl and food bowl have been untouched, meaning that he never came home. Well, he's here now, safe and sound. Alright, Ben, this is for you, mate. Go ahead, this is yours. Okay, Ben, you live here now, okay? He's... Have I just been instantly abandoned by my dog? Okay, no, good. Okay, buddy. You do you. Your water and food's over here, okay, pal? Now look at these chunky pigs. I think the time for the first slaughter session is nearly upon us. Speaking of that H key for whistle, the L key is for light. I thought that was only for cars. No, my fella has a torch hat somehow. I've been running in the dark for 35 days before I figured this out. It's time to buy another horse, and this is a superb female specimen, maxed out in 3 skills. Hell yeah. When I gallop her home, I decide that this would be the one I would actually like to make my main breeding horse. I just have to find a male with the exact same setup, but maxed out in stamina and not something else. There are these specific horse achievements. Train the horse and run 20 kilometers. This is going to be my chosen specimen. Also, I have 19 out of 39 achievements at this point. Now, I have a very unfortunate event next. What are you doing? Is that right, darling? Get up. Can I get down? Oh, you're joking me, mate. I'm stuck on my horse for the entire night. Come on. So now I am trapped on this horse's back for the entire... No way! I can't do anything about it. Oh, god damn it. Okay, I've been sitting here all night, and this horse that pissed off in the middle of the night came back just now as I was staring into the eyes of this creature. You know, so this dickhead has been awake the entire night. He knows I'm here, but he just won't let me dismount him. He's like, nah boss, you're gonna stay here all night, eh? I'm like, okay, well, it's gonna be incredibly uncomfortable for you because I'm gonna keep making you spin around. Yeah? Look, you're being a dickhead, but unfortunately for you, I can be a dickhead as well. So, the animals wake up at 8 AM, 1.5 hours left. I'm in the clear, right? Or at least I don't have to go search. No, stay. Okay, I can whistle him. I can't whistle him. Are you happy with what you've done? You seem very pleased with the outcome of the situation. Yeah, I see you, prick. Alright, I think I've just come up with a name for you, mate. 8 AM and the animals finally rise. I quickly stored the soon to have a name inside as the other horses started bolting for this door, and luckily this little opportunist wasn't too far away. You know what I called this horse? I called her Problem? It reminds me of that troll rage comic image actually. So, the time has come for me to experiment with the slaughtering mechanics in this game. I pick a grown male out of this herd and I take him to this private pen. I use the stun gun for its intended purpose, and afterwards I skin the deceased pig and a truckload of pork is left behind. I have plenty of coolers and I pick it all up. Surprisingly, I get 24 pieces of meat from this one fella. Wild deer or even bears only give me 3 to 4 chunks of meat. This is like 6 times more. I put some meat into the grinder and I grind it, but then nothing. It looks like it spills onto the ground. I later return with the pan and I do see the snap point, so meat goes into the pan. The pan needs to be picked up with my mouse button, and then I press E twice to put the meat into the sausage maker and then to turn it on. 2 separate commands. After a short time, the raw sausage drops to the ground, which is very sanitary. I hang it up in this drying rack to cure into sausage. Alright then. I go and get more machines as I understood the process now. I have 4 grinders and 3 sausage makers. I have to press E each time to put meat in and E again to turn on the grinders. It is quite intensive. I forgot about the pots on this occasion, which was disgraceful and wasteful. When I put the pan back here, I need to click E, but I then need to make sure to mouse click to take the meat pan off the grinder, because if I don't, my fella just grabs the meatball from the pan itself, which is a completely different product entirely. It can still be cured like a sausage, but if I make this mistake, it is for less profit. Now, does this all sound very confusing to you? It's because it was. And I got the butcher achievement there for making 5 sausages. I make the space to work here a bit more expansive. It is a bit cramped at the moment, and I extended the meat cabinets as well. The meat products are ready a few in-game hours later. I can't pick them out of the cabinets while holding a cooler. I have to literally take them out by hand before I can put them into a container. So here's the profit. A pork by itself sells for 45. Not bad. A pork sausage raw sells for 60. Pork salami, which is the cured version, sells for 90. And the pork meatballs, which is what happens if I misclick at that pan to sausage stage, it sells for 60, so this isn't bad money. If I don't misclick, 24 salami sausages from a single pig would be 2,160. I got 24 chunks of meat from that one pig. I've been milking animals for quite a while now and I wanted to see how this goes, so I go ahead and get more equipment. The numbers of these pigs are set to explode, especially if they give birth to a litter of piglets every single time, so I imagine I'm going to get very busy doing this. So I prepared during this nighttime by creating a whole bunch of extra cabinets and such, and I have 8 grinders ready for this operation. The reason I was also thinking that these numbers will explode is that even the younger pigs can get pregnant. Like this pig for example. She's halfway to fully mature and she's already dropping litters of smaller pigs. I may have to watch the numbers or else they may become too much for me to handle. So I go ahead and I try my new setup, but as the controls are finicky, you have to mouse click at certain times, then E-click several times, it gets very confusing on what you're doing. I was also set on taking the pigs away from the area and doing the stun gun bit away from the others, but for goodness sake, the AI fights you at every turn. Every single time I open the gate, they all flock towards this opening, and I can't get this fella through the gate. So I took the stunner out there because I wasn't dealing with that. Sausage production was intensive. I decided I'd still give it a go, but I'm gonna drop milking the goats for the time being. Also, horse breeding. I really wanted to sell a horse. I don't know which is which, but I thought the best practice would be to sell the least lucrative horse. That way I know that the good ones are still back at home doing their horsey things. I got 6,300 for this horse, and for reference, I've made a total of 180,000 so far in this game. Still a way to go, actually. I then tried training my horse here. Look at the bottom right there. There's a meter type thing filling up, divided into 6 stages. I made a jump over this fence thing, and the meter thing filled up a bit. I have to fully level this thing out to complete the training for a horse, but I have to make successful jumps. If I don't, well, no skill gain for me. I also have to run around for 20 kilometers as well. The skill increases is rare like this, just like my presence in my tomato farm at this point. I stopped selling them a little while ago. I stayed in this paddock, and training the horses proved to be a bit hard as well, to be honest. A reoccurring theme you've noticed with this game, actually. So I continue my chores of meat production. I find ways to improve the workflow, like grabbing all the cured sausages at the same time, dropping them to the floor, and then picking them up afterwards with the cooler, which proved to be a time saver. Also a little bit unsanitary, but we won't mention that. So on this occasion, with both production lines, I have made nearly 12,000, which is really getting up there. I haven't seen Ben much, but I do see his food and water bowls have been scoffed at, so he's around, I guess. I also make sure to set some time aside to enjoy life to the fullest, you know, get that adrenaline going. I had bought 4 barrels total to sell this oil quicker because I did see there was an achievement for it. Now here's a little bit of footage of me in the zone. I was successfully hitting all the right prompts and creating the sausage I wanted. This one is click intensive, however. Okay, yep, this is not too bad. This is going actually very well. I used the store area as a storage place. I bought a lot more coolers as the meat numbers was increasing. I wanted to see how the beef cows go, so I went ahead and bought a few of them. This was a test, but I also had to slaughter at least one of these fellas for an achievement. It is also the same meat production, so no worries there. I have the biggest sale of just under 17,000 today. Some cheeses, but mostly meat. Now the beef sausages, they go for $127.50. A full cooler of 24 would go for $3,060, which is pretty damn good. I didn't want to make a whole new paddock barn, so I decided to repurpose this dairy barn into a beef barn. So I go and get more resources for this endeavor, and I start that transition now. Taking down all these cooker things was a bit tedious, but hey, I made this choice. I also took the path of turning these dairy cows into the first lot of meat going through this new operation. If you ask what's the difference between beef and dairy cows, the beef ones drop more meat. So the same process as the pigs. 1 male and 3 females were purchased this day, though I reckon when these ladies give birth, it'll only be 1 calf at a time. This production line will probably be slower than the milking one, to be honest, but I wanted to give it a go, and I was a little bit over the milking mechanics in this game by this point. Although I've started actively slaughtering these pigs, the thing about them dropping in 3s is quickly overpowering my capabilities to keep up with the sausage production. I even need more food troughs in here. Anyways, hello Sally. This one is Bessie and Dana, and this fella I settled on Jimbo for some reason. Check out all these materials I have going into this new operation. I've only just passed 200,000 towards that 1 million goal. God, that takes a while. But holy moly, it's been like 5 minutes. But Jimbo here wasted no time. Dana is already knocked up. I mean, they were trapped in that corner together there, so that's fair. Bessie and Sally have escaped his frivolities thus far. So it's day 39 now. Days go slow in this game again, by the way, but the place is set up. I just have to wait for the beef to multiply. So I've been letting my chickens do their thing. But I see one dead one in this coop. Okay, maybe they had a fight? Oh no, I'm seeing a few dead ones underneath as well. How did this happen? Too many chickens. They have hitboxes, obviously. There's only one small ramp to walk down, and if they all go down there to eat and drink, well, that's gonna cause a blockade, isn't it? I built some extra water and feed troughs outside for them. This was but a small taste of what happens when a population gets out of control. But this night, I gave the entire place a good cleanup. I picked up all their eggs and cleaned up all their poop as well. It's the morning of day 40, and I worked on the dairy cow's meat I had stored away. I had a few chickens I could process as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and slap them into these machines. And about those pig numbers. Okay, this is getting a little bit out of hand, I think. You're also noticing that I've got this poop composter thing on me. Yeah. I gotta fill one of these fellas. It's for an achievement. If I click on this, I need to fill it up with 20 kilograms of poop. I shall fill it up with 20 kilograms of poop then. Go, you mighty warthogs. You shall be my salvation for that achievement. A fun fact, 20 kilos was half of what I needed. I'm gonna explain later. For now, do you see all these coolers? That's all the sausage from the dairy cows. 26,000 for this lot. The biggest sale I have made to this date. Also, the chicken sausage sells for $84. One chicken makes one sausage, so that's kind of meh for profit. Anyhow, it's time for some new horses. The running mechanic or the running animation in this game. It's like he's gotta run to the dunny. It's like, oh shit, oh shit. Moving on, I have 10 horses at this point. They breed really slowly, but goodness me, once this gets going, the lowest horses I can sell for about 6,000. So how about some more horses then? This was another good one. I also ran past the ranch name thing, and I never actually named my ranch. I was just randomizing them when I came across the obvious choice. Almost a... Okay, I think this one wins because it made me laugh. Okay, I was gonna call this Musketeerville or something to do with the name of, you know, the channel and all that sort of stuff, you know, the name I give the subscribers. But honestly, if you ask this thing, what name do I want to give this ranch? How about it's almost a ranch? Accept it. Oh, that's beautiful, but I can always change the name whenever I want to, but I don't think I will. I had to expand the meat cabinets in this pig barn. At this point, it was almost becoming a full-time thing. Very hard to keep up with. But yeah, as I was doing a round of this, by the time I filled them all up, the first cabinets had already cured, pretty much on a perfect loop. The beef cows are quite slow at multiplying, nothing compared to the pigs. The cows give birth to one little calf at a time. So I go ahead and I resume the work on the honey operation. I still needed to fill up one of these barrels completely. I wanted another hive, and I do find one later this day. I got a little bit daring and I climbed up a mountain while looking for more hives. But I don't see any up here. I do see a house, however. It is a hunter here, and he does have a few quests for me. Speaking of which, I do need to do some quests for an achievement. Alright now, down the hill, no holding back. Okay, full throttle. Full throttle. Oh god. Get your camera, mate. What are you doing? Oh god. Alright, we're fine. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. I did another jump and I had a pleasant surprise. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh, reach a speed of... Oh, there we go. Completely unintentionally did the 70 kilometers per hour thing. I'm very pleased with that. That's amazing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't seen Ben for a while. I mean, I've seen him a little bit, but he's always like a shadow running in the background. I did a little bit of a search for him. I didn't look very long. You're joking me. Oh, come on. Now, I have to ask the question. Did a bear get him? I've not seen a bear in this area at all. Did he try to hunt a deer? For goodness sake, Benjamin. Okay, do I need to make an enclosure for the dog as well? Maybe. Honestly, that makes sense. But you know, a dog knows where his food bowl is. I looked at what could happen with the pets in this game, and the long short of it, he starved to death. Unless I'm physically at my ranch the entire time, he loses his bowl and he starves. I'll forever remember Ben in my heart. For now, there's a starving hunter on top of this mountain. Some deer meat will suffice. And this is truly an ocean of pink. I remembered there was a place that buys some stuff for more money. I had to sell to these guys for an achievement. They wanted cheese today, and I still have my goats for the occasion. But first things first, a hunter needs some deer meat. Oh, yep, get some big air there. I like it. Oh, do a front flip, and park very nicely there. Okay, well, I think I did alright. Moving on, the hunter wanted me to catch a rabbit, so here I am stalking and looking for one. The blue marker led me to the spot. Oop, there's one right now. There is no way I can put this rabbit in my car like I've done with all my animals, so I'm forced to run back to this guy. Like some graceful bird, I swooped in and gave him his rabbit, and then like some clumsy lummox who's rolling down the hill, I managed to, safely, without a scratch on me, give this guy his wild meat, which got me an achievement. Now he does have a quest to kill 5 predators. I was actually going to skip this one, there was no need for it, but he says he will give me a rifle. How can I say no? Now every single day I've been filling up these granaries, but as the number of pigs have been growing, I find that I have to fill it up more than once a day. They eat it that fast. Goodness me, I started with 4 pigs. Now I happily saw that I still had goat cheese in here. It's time to go test that thing, but sadly I saw that the menu changed. I checked it at 4 AM this morning. I guess it changes at 6 AM, my bad. I need to sell the day's item to them 10 times. 10 times. Okay, your wording is very vague there. I have a cheeky idea which I'm gonna try later. But for now, I'm going to collect more poop from this pig farm, and at this time, I was really wary of the amount of pig slaughtering I've done. No matter how many I cull, their numbers are continuing to grow. I just can't keep up. I'm gonna have to get rid of this production line, or shorten it, actually. Making sausage takes the longest. How about I just sell the meat? Each pig with 24 meat sells for 1,080. Okay, that's not bad. It would make it a whole lot simpler and streamlined, and it will give me some time to start knocking over some achievements as I've officially entered the end game here. I go and I buy an scope. I buy a tractor, and simply buying this thing is worth an achievement. It was green, but I make it this yellowish thing, and that's another achievement down. I could also have done this much earlier, but I do go to the bank. I get a loan and I pay it off right away, and that's another achievement done. This evening, I go ahead and I use this scope on some eggs I picked up to see if one was fertilized. One was, and that's another one done. You know what I haven't done in like the longest time? Sleep. My guy could use some shut-eye. Well, good morning to you, fella. How are we? Did he just blink with his eyes closed? Oh god, that's creepy, mate. Can you get up alright? Bloody hell. So today I wanted to try out the large scale farming, those crop fields just outside my ranch. I got a harvest trailer and I brought it back with my tractor that's been sitting here forever. I then got this fertilizer trailer and then all these other attachments that mostly need to be attached to the harvester. I'm driving this thing back and forth several times. Its maximum speed is 27 kilometers. It took a whole day. I wasn't even done yet. I still needed to get the seeds and fertilizers. I wanted to try them all out. So here I am and I start plowing the field with my tractor. I then used the seeder to plant my first crop, which is wheat in this case. My technique, as you can see, is flawless. It's going to be the most lopsided farming operation you're ever going to see in your life, but oh well. I'm not going to complain. Oh, that's beautiful, mate. I think we're gonna do just fine. Now, that really did take all day, and in that time, this barrel had filled with honey, and I make sure to abscond with it. Now, about me taking that long, some of my granaries are empty, but I couldn't check the animals just yet. I had oil to fetch and sell. The full barrel of honey sold for 450. It's meh. It's the next morning and I quickly go and buy another horse. I am starting to see frame rate drops on my PC. The reason? The amount of pigs I have. So I was busy for a single day, and a hunger swept across the pig pen. A large number of them perished. I spent some time collecting all the meats from the fallen pigs. I went and sold all of it, and I saw what happened again with my crops way back when. Diminishing returns. The meat now sells for half price, so the other plan of just collecting the raw meats would be less lucrative. I guess that sausages and cheeses are classified as artisan goods, and they don't suffer from the diminishing returns. Anything that's base item level will eventually be worth less, which encourages the player to grind out the good stuff or diversify. On another achievement, the composter. This thing is full, is it not? Well, yes, the fertilizer section is now full. I have to pick up a further 20 kilograms of raw poop to get the poop section full again. Okay, on we go then. Today's special deals are beef and beef sausage, so I later returned with a cooler full of beef. And being cheeky, of course, I put one piece of beef onto the selling bay. One slab sells for 84, and that's one transaction for the achievement. What about 2 pieces? Well, that counts both items as 2 separate transactions. So long story short here, boom, I have sold 10 pieces of beef separately to these guys, and that's another achievement done. I went back to train my horses some more, but unfortunately, I have more horses now, and they kept getting in the way of the training. In the distance there, you can see the wheat is slowly growing, but I'm gonna go ahead and cultivate the other fields. This is pretty satisfying to watch, but it is a bit time consuming. I wonder if I have to do this every single time I want to sow a field. Anyways, I decided to sow this one with sunflower seeds, and the last one with corn seeds. Now, because I kept getting stuck on the other horses, I decided to make another whole training paddock over here. Doing the legwork here was much easier, but it was still more challenging than I thought to train this horse. I do have 20 of them at this time, so I am pretty happy with their numbers. I've completed 2 sections of training for Problem. You can see an extra box has filled up in her stats window, so I'm 1/3 of the way there. It's taking quite a bit. I mean, long enough that my crop fields are starting to show some real growth. I am liking this. I'm pretty keen to harvest this in due time. Now, does this work? Yes, it does. Oh no, that's so cheating, but I'm going to do it because, yes, of course I am. Did you notice that there was no XP growth on that last one? In fact, one of the ramps was always finicky to get over, even with a ramp. Like, look at this. Perfect clearance. But it didn't register. This one side always gave me this trouble. I slogged it through for now. I'm almost there, but it's nearly 8 PM and I remembered what happened last time. I let the horse sleep properly on this occasion. I go ahead and buy some more horses with these amazing stats, and then I got really cheeky with the training. Hey, you don't tell me that the ranchers don't train their horses like this. Have you ever been on a ranch before? Well, I haven't. So this is how I'm training my horse. Problem? So in record time, I train Problem to the maximum and I get the achievement for it, and I take it for a victory lap. These sunflowers and corn are looking pretty good. And here's some further good news. I've run 20 kilometers on horseback. That's another achievement done. Now, Problem here sells for $12,500. I'm not sure how the game registers the stats in the top left corner here, but I was sure this was her. It was the only fully trained horse. I saw another male equivalent in this auction, the same setup, 3 maxed out stats except for speed, and I wanted this fella. I call him No Problem. I wanted to make a new paddock because I was going to get selective with the horse breeding in one section. This will be my 4th barn constructed on almost a ranch. I still have problems with the animals and gates, by the way. Can you guys let me in, please? You're gonna make this hard, aren't you? No, you get off the horse, you mother... Yep, as soon as a bloody door opens. Moving on, I relocate the best female and the best male into this pen, and I start to train this fella up to maximum as well. I made the training even simpler for me by having stairs directly next to the side, so I literally just have to go in a circle. I was able to fully train a horse in roughly 20 minutes. I was shifting into horse training mode. I skipped into a horse with 3 maximum stats popped up, and then I bought them. I trained them for roughly 20 minutes each, and the more of these horses I have, the more awesome baby horses I'll have down the line. The fields are ready to go, but I made the mistake of attaching the corn harvester instead of the wheat harvester, so I actually destroyed a good portion of this first field. When I attached the correct piece, you can see that the gauge down below shows a wheat icon and the cursor slowly filling up. Just under 170 wheat out of 250. Very good, but that was almost an entire field. I have to fill this thing up entirely for an achievement, but that's gonna be for later. Right now, I break through the world trying to reattach this harvest trailer onto my tractor. I line both of these vehicles up and I watch that wheat flow. Oh, you're joking me. Look how slowly that's going. Oh, you're kidding. Well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Oh, no way, look at that. When I came back, I saw that grain sells for $8.40 per grain, whatever that equates to. I made $1,400, and if this was a full load, I'd get $2,100. However, I have 2 more crop fields left and I tear into these. Also, as you can see, I do need to recultivate the land each time. Sunflower seeds sell for $12 each, which is a bit more than the wheat, and harvesting the corn is probably the most satisfying. Look how tall they are. However, they don't sell for the most. They sell for just over $10 per corn. So okay, sunflowers it is then. I still needed to fill up an entire harvester for an achievement, so I go ahead and bought several bags of sunflower seeds. But can you imagine my disappointment to discover that I can't put bags of grain into this giant ass trailer attached to my car? Absolutely outrageous. I then spent a very long time skipping the horse auctions. I was very unlucky tonight. Not a single good horse. I mean, this one was so close, but nope, 3 stats have to be maxed out. My son also came to visit me. Ow! Just cracked my leg and everything. Okay. Hey Owen, that's me. I'm playing Ranch Simulator. Can you say horse?
Horse.
Good boy. Can you say ranch?
Horse.
That's a human. That's me. Well, that's my character anyways.
Horse.
Horse, good boy. I'm trying to buy horses, but they're very, very elusive. So after what was probably 20 minutes and also another session of play, I found the horse I was looking for. I had 1 male in this paddock and several females, and I'm pretty keen to see what the stats are going to be when the babies grow up. In the meantime, I started another session of crops, and I was doing this specifically to get that achievement. The setup for these large fields took quite a long time, and it proved to be not as lucrative as I hoped they would be. Now the horses, however. I just want to point this out quickly. I just started recording again. I have a huge amount of horses right now, like absolutely skyrocketing. I went ahead, I got another horse. Best female 2 is pregnant, best female again is pregnant. This fella's been busy, it's good stuff. Got this guy here. And then there is best female 3 or 1 or whatever. Best female 3. With the surge in horses, I started selling off the least profitable ones, but even then, that's 6,000 each. After selling a few of them, I was sitting at 380,000 total revenue thus far, but amazingly, I have horses that sell for almost 15,000 now. So in this paddock, I have 1 best male and 5 best females, all maxed out in 3 out of the 4 stats. I'm keen to see if the offspring picks up any stats from the dad and mom and have maximum stats all around. My sunflowers have grown, and I just needed to gather a full load, and when it's done, it was done. I then walked around with the composter and gathered the final bits of poop I would need for this achievement. This one actually took quite a while, actually. It was also the day my oil selling venture would pay off, and after a little sale later, I have this achievement as well. I make a stop at the hardware store and I get a whole bunch of fireworks, and I finally see this outside the general store. Ranch's daily news. Current prices for goods today. Eggs. Default price, today price. Fertilized egg will go for that much. You know, I'm probably nearly done with this game, and it's the first time I'm seeing this. Interesting. I can see I completely devalued the price of pork. Yeah, so everything is up there except for pork. I didn't know this thing was here. Wait, you have to pay $1 for it. One of the final achievements in this game, I had to look it up as I had no idea where to do it. There was this random paint can kiosk in the hardware store that I never saw once. All I had to do was buy 5 buckets of paint. Not paint anything, just buy the buckets. Okay, well, I'm gonna be honest, I never picked these up. Someone else can do some painting. I have 3 left. Revive a partner or be revived myself, make $1 million and 1 hidden one. Currently I have 34 horses total I can sell. I am nearly there, so I go ahead and I enjoy some of this real estate channel in my house. The morning of day 52. I see one of these horses here in the awesome paddock that has no name. They have finally grown up and I can saddle up and I can check out the stats. That would be 2 maxed stats, one that's slightly below maximum and then half stamina. It seems like this one picked up the same stats as the parent, only slightly less. I got the impression here that the baby horses will only get the stats of one of their parents, and no stat mutations like it did in Ark Survival Evolved. I was a bit let down if this was the case, so I grabbed my fishing pole and I gave this a bit of a whirl. I chose my tackle, cast my line, and I waited for my first bite. Once I hook a fish, I press the mouse button on the marker every single time, and I reel in this specimen. Straightforward. That is a big fish. Oh yeah, that's actually not too bad. So it's a carp. I wonder how much you sell for. I caught a few more. This one was quite huge. And then I got this wee little baby fish. On the way to the shops, I spotted a few bears and I still had that quest for the hunter. That big fish sold for $7.35 and the rest for less, of course. It was a nice distraction, but I wouldn't do this for money. But I always wanted to try a bunch of grapes because that was my other choice I had in the beginning of the game, so I'm going to plant them now. My game was starting to glitch again, so I had another go with the pigs. And it took quite a long time, but the cows' numbers had grown large enough where I can finally start the slaughtering of them now as well. I was quite close to the end of the game, so I was just in grind mode during this time, but I made time to complete the hunter's request, and I was rewarded with the rifle. It uses the same bullets as the pistol, so okay cool, no worries there. The grapes were ready on day 55, and I really wanted to give these guys another go. 294 of them sold for $8,820. Amazingly, they went for $30 each, which is actually pretty huge. I'm only picking that up now while I'm scripting this. I wish I did them in the beginning of the game. Speaking of early days, I remembered this old ranch fella had a few quests. The most exciting one would be the treasure of the ancients. Apparently warriors from distant northern lands were once in this region. They've left behind some treasures for me to find, so I searched the entire map for a bit, seeing if I could find anything. I didn't, not by myself, so I got distracted by another task. Did I miss an opportunity at the start of the game by not making the greenhouse? I go ahead and I quickly make one this time that is actually structurally sound. I placed a crop plot in here and I brought a sprinkler along, and I had another ponder. Surely you're not expected to come in and water these every time. The answer may be obvious to some. Clearly I didn't think of it, but you simply put the sprinkler into the crop plot soil itself. Bugger mate, that could have changed things early on. Oh well. Now this is my treasure hunting technique, taking the route of most resistance and looking like a complete imbecile. These treasures were off the beaten path, around the edge of the map. Did I look them up? Yep, yes I did. Also, a quick question for you Musketeers. Okay, cool. This tower actually really reminds me of the one in Raft. I think we go to the radio tower in Raft. Actually, that is a question. Would you people like to see Raft on this channel? The thing is though, I have played it before, and I've played it all the way through with, you know, friends and all that, so I know what happens. I can still do a video, and, you know, make it fun and whatnot, but, or, you know, make it a decent narration. But there's no surprise for me in that one, because I have already experienced it. But, if you would like to see Raft on this channel, please leave a comment down below and I shall see what I can do. Okay, so it's up there, is it? After a brief search, I saw this dagger up here. It took me a few minutes, it was hard to spot. And this other treasure chest had the last goblet I needed for Old Mate. I could take him one more gift. Ramming speed! Oh dear, that could be bad. Okay, let's go see Old Mate. We'll take him this bear. Aww, that would have been beautiful. Yeah, that would have been beautiful, but I give this old fella the 3 pieces and he pays me $2,500 for them. This quest would be good to do in the beginning of the game, for a big lump sum to start you off. Talking about another lump sum, my retirement fund. I have 49 horses right now, and the lowest one will sell for no less than $7,000. It's finally day 57 and I have a few last achievements left in this game, one of which requires a player 2. Luckily my other half also has a ranch simulator. I was giving her a bit of a tour. I showed her the farm plot before checking out the chicken coop so that she can see I neglect my cleanly duties in game as well as in real life. The achievement was I have to either revive a friend or be revived myself. So I shot her. I got the achievement, which is something. She then shot me so she can have her own revenge. Fair is fair. I have a genuine question for you, actually. If I do another game in the future, and it has an achievement that is reliant on multiplayer, would you be bothered if I passed on it if I don't have a friend who owns the same game? Let me know, please. Moving on, I took her to my horse paddock and we had a bit of a gallop. I showed her the houses I rarely slept in, and I started selling off all the horses while she was on. I was devastated to see that I was going to fall short 20,000. I'm going to quickly fast forward to the next day here, where I found out that I could simply buy a horse and then resell the horse instantly, and I did that a few times and I was able to get this achievement. Backtracking to the previous night, and I had also bought a bunch of fireworks, remember? Right, so these are fireworks. I think you just have to look at them and press E to shoot them off. I put a whole bunch out there for you, so when you're ready, we'll just light them up.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. And I launched the fireworks in 10 seconds. Nice. A bit... That is actually quite nice. My hair is flaring all different colors right now.
Pretty fireworks.
It is pretty fireworks. Fireworks! Very nice. And that is it, Musketeers. That is 100% of Ranch Simulator. Hey Musketeer, I see that you're still here. Cheers for checking out my 100% Ranch Simulator video. Do you want more by chance? I did mention my 100% Stardew Valley video a few times. Also Potion Permit, it was also a good one. Or how about While the Iron's Hot, a hidden gem. Until next time, one for all and all for one. Cheers Musketeers.